I love Secret Lairs. They let unconventional artists make magic cards and let wizards play around with the very concept of what a magic card even is. But not all Secret Lairs are created equal, you know, so I wanted to make a new show on here, the Secret Lair Sideshow. What in the hells are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be on Thunder Junction? Oh, don't worry, Veronica. This isn't canon or anything. Anyway, I want to take a look at the newest Secret Lair drop, the Equinox Superdrop, and give my thoughts on it. No prices and such because there are and will be other channels that know more about price, and I more so want to talk about what I like about the composition of the lair itself, if the cards are playable and in what formats, what I think about the art, and my thoughts on the lair as a whole. So, without further ado, let's start the show. First off, we have featuring Phoebe Wall. Phoebe Wall's art is very whimsical and downright enchanting here, so her lair is quite the same. The cards included are Alayla, Artful Provocateur, Fairy Artisans, Door of Destinies, Swords to Plowshares, and Dockside Chef. What, you think they'd really reprint Dockside Extortionist in here? LOL. Lamau even. Please reprint it, this card is way too expensive. This lair comes together very well. While Alayla has gotten another Secret Lair reprint already that makes my sapphic heart swoon, that Alayla was in a limited supply Secret Lair, so it's a bit rarer, and this Alayla feels a bit more Fae-like in my opinion. The same can be said about the Fairy Artisans and the Swords to Plowshares, both cards that are easy includes in an Alayla deck. The Door of Destinies feels especially magical, with the Fairy Circle and the Lights of the Night being especially decadent. All of these cards fit very well into an Alayla Fairy Kindred deck, except for, yeah, the Chef. Dockside Chef is a weird inclusion to me. While it's a really cool card, it's not particularly necessary in a Fairy Kindred deck. It wasn't really a necessary reprint, but it can fit into a more Enchantressy style deck that leans on Alayla's last ability. It's an odd inclusion, but I can see why it's in there. We've got 5 cards in here and they're all solid with wonderful art. A very awesome Secret Lair. Next up is Artist Series Ravina Kai. So if you're anything like me, you might be wondering what the difference is between the featuring Secret Lairs and the Artist Series Secret Lairs. I actually looked it up. It turns out the featuring Lairs all feature new artists to Magic the Gathering, while the Artist Series is more so current Magic artists getting the chance to go wild on some of their favorite cards, and Ravina Kai knocked this one out of the park. Her tarot-themed Secret Lair speaks to the witch inside of me, with cards like Aether Vial, Arcane Signet, Sword of the Animist, and Inala, Archmage Ritualist. One of my biggest things about Secret Lairs is that when they need to be a bit more experimental like with this one, that they need to be very readable. These being artifacts offsets all of the normal confusion that comes with the border changes and changing the color, though that does kind of leave Inala as like an outlier here, but honestly, I think this is the natural place to put these sorts of arts and borders, on Eminence Commanders. They're not always going to be on the battlefield anyway, and honestly, Inala is one of the fair versions of this effect. Aether Vial is an excellent tier 2 or 3 card in Modern and Legacy decks, and Arcane Signet and the Sword are fantastic Commander ramp cards. While it's only 4 cards, which is a bit less than normal, and I do stress that Secret Lairs kind of do need to have a sort of consistency and value in them, it's wonderfully witchy and it's an easy pickup for me personally. Okay, I'll be real, this one is my favorite in the bunch, there is no contest. It's Diabolical Dioramas, done by the artist Laura Plansker. Each of these arts may look digital, but they're not. Each of these is a photograph made of a real-life diorama, and each has a corresponding short video to go along with it. These are all fantastic and I adore them so much. This lair includes Aura Shards, Fiend Artisan, Gravebreaker Lamia, and Carador Ghost Chieftain. Carador is a little bit of an odd inclusion because he's a victim of the power creep of recent Commander cards, but he's still super fun and I love the little Easter eggs in his art. The other 3 cards also fit into a Carador deck, so that makes perfect sense. And yes, the Lamia is my favorite because there's a carnival in the background. Yes, I'm fully biased, and I am not sorry. Stay mad. Fiend Artisan is also sometimes in Pioneer lists, but it's extremely solid in any green and black deck that wants to put specific creatures out or get value off of tokens. All in all, even though it's only 4 cards again, which I'm not a super huge fan of, these dioramas are certainly decadent. Moving on, we're going into the Fallout crossover. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your religious beliefs, none of these cards are mechanically unique. But before I go any further, while I wasn't going to talk about the bonus cards that can be in these Secret Lairs, I'm gonna talk about these for a bit. So in each of these Fallout Secret Lairs, you can either get a Codex Shredder in the non-land lairs, or a Wastes in the Point of Interest lair. However, any of them can be replaced by a Mana Vault, for one that's kinda cute. Vault, Mana Vault, I get it. But there's only a small chance of it. What percentage chance? We don't know. Now, I'm not a legal person. I am a cartoon character on your screen talking about silly pieces of cardboard, but the entire reason TCGs aren't typically held to the same standards as gambling is precisely because they offer these odds when there's a random chance of something in a pack of cards. I'm not saying it's possible that Wizards could face legal repercussions for it if someone was to bring it to court, but anyway, the lairs for this crossover are certainly interesting. I'm going to start with my least favorite one and end on my favorite. So we're starting with Vault Boy. This lair has 4 cards, which I'm already not a huge fan of, but they're honestly all hilarious. The headliner is Vault Boy Capped Collector. This is a legendary skin of Grand Arbiter Augustin IV, and oh no, I see where this is going. The other 3 cards in this secret lair are Sphere of Resistance, Trinisphere, and Winter Orb, all pieces of what is typically known as the Stacks playstyle, designed to make it so that your opponent or opponents just don't play Magic that evening while you play slightly more than no Magic. It is objectively funny that these are all the Vault Boy cards, and it's hilarious that Wizards is basically printing a My First Stacks deck in a secret lair, but having only 4 cards is a minus for me. Still, very funny and a solid pickup if you like spreading misery. Next up is Points of Interest, a really fun look into the different locations in the wasteland that Vault Boy finds himself visiting. The cards included are Bajuka Bog, Command Beacon, Command Tower, Fabled Passage, and Reflecting Pool. These are all very solid Commander lands, with Fabled Passage even being solid in some Pioneer decks. These lands are all Commander All-Stars and very solid upgrades to your Commander mana bases. There's not much to say about this one, honestly. The lair is solid and very well, it's expected. This is what I ideally want from a secret lair. No notes, this one is sweet. Finally, we have Special. Special. This is a 7-card secret lair that features cards that start with the letter of each stat. Strength has Steel Shaper's Gift, Perception has Propaganda, Endurance has Elixir of Immortality, Charisma has Council's Judgment, Intelligence has Idyllic Tutor, Agility has Anger, and Luck has Lightning Bolt. Each of these cards sync up fairly well with their respective special stat, and all of the cards are extremely playable in Commander. Well, except for the Elixir, but I mean, hey, some people like that card and the art is nice. These cards might not be all-stars in terms of monetary value. How many printings of Lightning Bolt are we up to? But these are all great includes for Commander, and 7 cards in a lair is awesome. All in all, this drop is certainly special. Hey, you know what else is special? Subscribing. It lets me know that I did a good job and it keeps this show on the road. That's all for the secret lairs of this drop. If you only wanted my thoughts on the drop, that's what they are. A bunch of solid lairs and a good super drop overall. If that's what you clicked on the video for, there you go. You're free to go. But there's a small problem. If you wanted to get all of the secret lairs, you can't. At time of writing this script, about half of the bundles you could have bought which is bad. It's bad, it's terrible, and I hate it. You may reasonably be asking, why am I making this video? Well, for a few reasons. 1, I want Wizards to know what they're doing right. These lairs are some of the best that we've seen in recent memory, both from a playability and style perspective, and having a bit of transparency with the secret cards included with the Fallout lairs is a good idea. In addition, the change in printing policy was solid in theory, but less so in practice. For those who are unaware, the Secret Lair team used to sell the secret lairs at a print-to-demand style. That meant if you had the money and the desire to buy a secret lair within the time frame they were selling it, you could pick it up. The benefits were that everyone who wanted a lair could get one, but it might take a while to get to you. I still don't have my Doctor Who Regeneration secret lair. The new printing style is kind of the opposite. They have a set number of lairs printed, and when they sell out, they're gone. They're just gone. Which, if you want to pick up the lairs and get them in a reasonable time frame, it's great. Unfortunately, the result that we've seen is that this system highly preys upon people's sense of FOMO and benefits resellers and those who have higher capital. Before, if you managed to get around 30 to 50 smackaroos for a drop that you wanted by the end of the month, you were in luck. But now, if you don't have the money the day of the drop happens, you're just not going to get that lair. And that sucks. These are some of the coolest drops that we've had in a long time. Some fantastic collector's items and gameplay pieces, but your average Magic player can't have them. So what's the solution? Obviously Wansi wants to try this new print strategy a few times because getting cards into the people's hands is important to them. You know, a cynical take might be that, it gets them money faster, but if you want cynical takes, go to Twitter. Twitter has plenty of them. So let's brainstorm some ways to be creative and come up with a solution that makes everyone happy. First off, maybe give a detailed number of the drops sold. print X amount of each item and put that on the website under the title of the drop, and let people know ahead of time so that they know if there's a bit fewer of the lair that they're interested in. This might feed into FOMO a little bit more, but it would give buyers an extra piece of information, and I think that's an overall good. 2, maybe limit the number of items you can buy. Yeah, I know, free market, capitalism good, unga bunga, blah blah blah, but hear me out. I say we limit the number of purchased drops to 5. Why 5? Well, a playset of any given card is 4, and 1 could be used that you could keep sealed or put away as a collector's item. This is mainly working to curb the reseller accounts who only want to pick them up in order to buy 1 million of them to resell for twice the price. That's bad? Don't do that. Don't be mean. 3, give a bit more time between all of the cards being unveiled in the super drop and when it actually drops. I work in a circus. Making these videos for my audience takes time, and I'm super late to the party by now if this video goes up the week of everything selling out. While I by no means do this as a job or anything, this sentiment was echoed by plenty of creators online. There's no time to review these layers in order to give people who want a bit more convincing some extra information. Prices, opinions, research, opinions on playability, etc. These are all missing right now as all the big names just simply don't have the time to make their videos. So maybe just give the people who want to advertise your products for free a bit more time to do said advertising, please. I think these 3 things could really help ease some of the pain points of this drop while still getting the cards to the people as soon as possible. Is it perfect? Not really. I think the old system was better, but the system we've got right now needs improvements and fast. So if you're not going to change it, please consider some of these options wizards, if you're watching this at all even. That's all for now. If you liked what you saw, check out some of these other videos. As always, thank you all so very much for watching, and until next time, au revoir!